in the days that we live and the days of difficulty, there's a great misunderstanding propagated probably by or intentionally or disinformation. The appearance of Sayyidina Mahdi and the advent of the Dajjal and deception. More advertised version of the understanding in the last days of Armageddon and battles and difficulties. They tell a version to scare people, oh, that Sayyidina Mahdi is coming and great wars will occur and great battles will ensue, and that the people whom wait for Sayyidina Mahdi like preparing themselves for war. It's not true. That's not the haqqaiq and the reality. The reality is that the men of immense greed and desires have given themselves to shayateen and lower energies. And as a result of their bad desires and their bad actions, Allah Izzati wa Jalalihi gives to them punishment of war. That war is a punishment upon mankind, and that Allah describes in Holy Qur'an that war will come and you'll be punished at the hands of men whom have no mercy. That's not something good, it's clearly punishment. What happens in the last days is qadabullah, the anger of Allah on the earth for the injustice and inequities and the badness done upon each other, because they are the children of paradise. As a result of these bad actions and bad characters, war begins to break out, in which killing becomes commonplace everywhere. Not an area or a space is spared from the extent of that violence and the horrific nature of the characters in which Allah allows people to release. Whatever goodness within them gone, and all that is portrayed upon the earth is the badness. And that's why we described the night before that if there's a drop of goodness within somebody, then build it, nourish it, let it to flourish. If you allow the negativity, it will overtake. If there's a drop of goodness within them, inshaAllah Allah allows it to be multiplied. Because there's a goodness, they're asking forgiveness, they're making their salawats to be near to Prophet God's grace then, that's what grace is. I'll send them more lights and more opportunities to do good. When God's anger enters, means the grace begins to diminish and become distant, and the badness will be allowed to fester and manifest. So they showed like a disease that if Allah's rahmah comes, the disease stops. If Allah's mercy doesn't come upon the servant, that disease spreads entirely upon the person like venom. This is the disease of bad character and anger. But the problem is that you don't just live with that, but Allah's promise was, I'm going to send people who have no mercy after you. Because now you're in their companionship. You entered now into the ocean of Allah's anger and qadab, and only despair and torment awaits that ocean, because that's not the ocean of rahmah and mercy. What coming upon the earth is of that nature. Imam Mahdi has nothing to do with entering into that battle. There are not people sitting and preparing because they speak absolute rubbish, because they're not shaykhs, they're not trained by shaykhs. They don't even think Imam Mahdi knows himself. When the tariqah is based on who knows himself will know his Lord. So the presumption is that he doesn't know his Lord and he doesn't know his ability and doesn't know what he has. Means this is spoken by a jahil, an ignorant person who doesn't even understand tariqahs. Where every student of tariqah knows they have to know themselves, and they know that at every moment there's a station, and at every aggression and bad character they fight their character, they enter into seclusions if permissions are granted. But they went through years of struggling against themselves and continuous, there's no end to that struggle. So there's nothing happening overnight. The soul and the representation of Sayyidina Mahdi salam is a rahmah and a mercy in which he is salam in a hidden state, and his tajallis and lights, because the soul is more powerful than the sun, can't be even imagined. And you can get a suntan when the sun is shining, and you can get even more of a suntan if it's cloudy. Because when it's cloudy you don't sense it's hot, so you just keep sitting out there and people come back and say, "You look burned, what happened?" Because when there's no clouds you sense, "Oh, this is intensely heated, hot, I'm going to seek shelter." When you don't know that it's hot and you don't know that the shade, the sun rays are still coming through, you're going to get cooked. This is an example of Sayyidina Mahdi salam, that by having the love of Prophet if his physical zuhur is here, that's like sunshine, you're gonna cook. The hidden zuhur is like sun on a cloudy day, we don't seem to see it, we don't really identify and understand it unless you're from the people of tafakkur and contemplation, and you feel the fires, you feel the lights, you feel that love of Prophet, and because this is the sultan of the lovers of Sayyidina Muhammad. The version they describe of preparing for battles and going into these battles is completely fabricated. And what happens upon the earth is that 6 out of 7 people will be destroyed. And this is the punishment of the Divine, whether they punish each other or God's Divinely wrath begins to unleash His anger upon the earth. In any direction something wrong is coming.